Is this book complete? Can I understand it and live a life as a Muslim without referring to scholars or other literature?
Content over everything!
Is it incomplete? Listen to what you're saying. Listen to what you're saying. You're saying that the Quran is complete, but you can't use the Quran. Do you not notice the contradiction?
Okay. In terms of how do you believe in the messages inside of it always explain in terms of what
let me ask you this. If you wrote me some instructions, if you as a person wrote me a book on how to learn to swim, would you write the book clearly so that I can understand it in one single book, or would you write it in a more vague way that I'd have to refer to an expert or other people to learn to swim? How would you give me instructions to learn to swim?
You don't? So you believe in nothing?
Now we're talking about a way of life.
So where do you think all...
Why not? Does he not want us to follow it easily and effortlessly?
Well, there you go. Evolution.
That's not the question I asked you. I said, does God not want us to follow it easily and effortlessly? Or does he want to make it particularly complicated so you get so many different people misunderstanding?
Rob's back.
Do you see the problem? Do you not see the contradiction? Yes, you are.
No,
I'm calm.
all I'm saying is
there's only one brain cell you have. I don't have a brain. It doesn't take much to keep you
one verse they're always finding infamous that is life without reading everything around it. Like say you have the instructions.
That's called faith. You believe it. I don't know.
Ignore the rest of the steps.
Born to be like that.
Is that going to work for you?
Ideology. Something has to be
My
done.
friend,
is that going to work for you?
No, that's not going to work for you, and that's why I asked you the question. Is this book complete? Can I understand it and live a life as a Muslim without referring to scholars or other literature?
No.
Okay, so the book is not complete. What does complete mean to you?
Complete means that it's been formulated with precision, and in terms of everything that needs to be said,
You're struggling, and I can understand why. Because you're trying to make up your own version of complete. If I ask any person here, what does complete mean? Complete means everything is contained there that I need for the message, whatever the message is. I don't need anybody else. I don't need extra books. You're going to dance around what the word complete
then,
means.
it's finished. You have,
I'm not interested in something that's finished. I'm interested in something that's complete. If you're giving me a message, I want a clear, concise, complete message. Not a message where I have to consult the UK swimming champion to understand how to swim.
If you're talking about the general message of Islam, it's very complete.
Why
you don't need anything else.
Why are so many Muslims misunderstanding the very complete message?
They're not misunderstanding Islam, they're misunderstanding specific rulings. In the Quran, the basic message of Islam is to believe in one God and believe in the Prophet, yes? Yes?
What else is there? That's the basics. Every Muslim accepts that.
Every Muslim accepts that.
Fine.
That's what
now
the
you've
Quran
got the rest of how you live your life.
Now, the rest of how you live your life is based on the Sunnah.
How many times are you supposed to pray a day? How many times? Is that in the Quran?
Yes.
No, it's not. It's in the Sunnah.
It's in the Sunnah. Then.
Thank you.
Fine.
So
but the
there's
Quran
certain
tells
things.
you to follow the Sunnah.
Yeah. Well, that's why the Quran is not complete.
Why?
Because it's not everything that you need as a Muslim is not in the Quran.
Yeah, you can't.
No, but it tells you to follow that something.
In what it says as a. Basically, the Quran is everything that God wants you to know in terms of how to practice your faith internally. Everything that's external, like the mannerisms of how you eat, or the things that you do daily, like prayer, those come from the Sunnah, which is what the Prophet did. Now, everything you need to know about
Did the Prophet make any mistakes?
No.
He was faultless. Are you sure?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure in terms of the fact that he was the most perfect of humankind, yes.
Yeah, he
Okay, so you need to go read it again. Was he not fooled by shaitan?
No, he did make mistakes, but he didn't sin.
One at a time. Okay, so you agree he's not.
He made
he's not
mistakes, but he
faultless.
didn't
He's not
sin
infallible.
because he didn't make the mistakes
So-
intentionally.
The book is infallible or inerrant, but the Prophet is not. Correct?
Everything that the Prophet did.
Do you understand the words I'm asking you?
Okay, fine.
Did the Prophet make mistakes?
No.
No.
He made no mistakes.
No mistake, yes.
So when he was fooled, that wasn't a mistake. That was on purpose.
No, he did make mistakes.
Okay, you're
he didn't make.
like if I forget something, that's different to if I commit a
If
sin.
you say to me,
God guided
your
him.
name
Where
is
Islam is
Ali,
concerned,
corrected them
where Islam is concerned, it's not about whether you accidentally tripped. That's if the Prophet did that, humans trip. That's fine. Humans trip over a rock. That's what you're trying to say. He made mistakes for. What I'm saying is he's sinless in everything that he did. Nothing he did was against God. Yes, nothing he did was against the God.
yes,
So everything that
I
he
understand
did-
that's the claim. That's a different claim
No.
to whether he can be, whether he's inerrant. In other words, do you know the Sikh gurus? They claim their gurus are perfect. No mistakes, they never be fooled, they are perfect. So in other words, for example, the Sikh gurus are better than Muhammad.
I don't care about the Sikh
what I'm
gurus in
saying-
terms of talking about Muhammad.
I
What I'm telling
understand
you is
that.
you are mixing up mistakes with sins.
then wasn't Musa
Sins
was
and
also
mistakes
an
are
angel?
different things. A mistake, I can trip over. That would be a mistake.
So did Muhammad make mistakes? Let's use your language. Did he
Yes,
make
fine.
mistakes?
He made
Okay.
mistakes.
So if he made mistakes, is it possible that he made more than one mistake?
Fine.
So is he a reliable person to follow if he makes mistakes?
You don't follow. You don't. Anything that is to do with the religion, he did not make a mistake in.
That's not the question I asked.
Everything that he did was in
If
keeping
he's
with
not
the
a
religion.
perfect human being, he's
He is.
not infallible.
Infallible. Do you know what infallible means?
It means he cannot make mistakes.
No, it means he cannot sin. He
No.
cannot be.
Infallible
He
is
cannot
you
be
cannot make
disproved.
mistakes.
He cannot be disproved. Okay, fine. What I'm saying is that he didn't commit any sins. Whether he tripped over a rock has nothing to do with how I live my life as a Muslim. Okay, what we take from the Prophet is what he did good. I mean, what he showed is the correct thing to do in Islam. So if I'm following Islam, I'm not looking to see what practical mistakes he made in terms of a battle strategy or a tripping over a rock in the park. I'm talking about what he did that was right in terms of honesty, in terms of Islamic rulings that every Muslim should follow. Whether he made a mistake in terms of a practical thing is irrelevant.
The point goes back to you're claiming that the Quran is complete.
If I need to follow something about the religion, I can look at Muhammad without any regret, because everything that he did to do with the religion was infallible. Whereas anything to do with a practical, like, sort of living your everyday life, you might have forgotten to brush his teeth one day, I don't know, but that's just part of
If
being
he made a mistake thinking that Shaitan was an angel, that's a fairly big mistake, don't you think?
He wouldn't have done that.
Go look it up, dude.
Why don't you show me then?
I've got my phone live streaming at the moment. Go and look it up. Everybody knows. The man made mistakes. But the bigger point goes back to the Quran. You're telling me it's complete. You're then admitting that it's not complete because you need to follow Muhammad because everything he did is not in the Quran. So if I gave you the Quran, I said, be a
Quran is not
Muslim and
complete.
live
The
your
Quran
life.
is not complete to live your life.
Thank you.
Okay, that's. I didn't disagree with you.
Yes, you did for about half an hour.
What you were saying was that the Quran is sort of.
I said the Quran is not complete. That's the words I used. Did I not? Yes?
Fine. The Quran is no. The way you're saying it though is like, oh, the Quran is not complete. No, the Quran
Yes,
is.
that's what I'm saying. The Quran is not complete. Yes, that's exactly
As
what
a
I'm
book,
saying.
as a book,
Yes.
you're saying that it needs to be finished. That's what complete means. Whereas if you say in Islam, a Muslim who follows Islam cannot completely live his life without taking from the Quran and the Sunnah. The Quran as a book is complete. The Quran and everything that Allah intended to be in the book is complete because Allah completed it with the Arabic literature that's in the Quran. But as a Muslim, I need to live my life. I need to take from the Sunnah as well. So the Quran is complete, but for a Muslim to live his life, he is not complete without
Right.
the
So
Sunnah. The Quran is complete.
if I gave
but
the
a Muslim
Quran
is
to
not-
anybody and said be a Muslim, they couldn't be a Muslim, right?
Yeah. No, they could be a Muslim, but they couldn't follow it to 100%.
Dude, come on, make up your
Listen
mind.
to yourself. The
Make up
Quran.
your mind.
The Quran and the Prophet Muhammad come hand in hand.
Yeah. The
His
Quran
life
as a
was
book.
a living
The
example
Quran
of
as
the
a
Quran.
book in everything that it was intended to contain is complete in everything that it intended to contain. But that's irrelevant to what you're saying to me, which is that you need more than the Quran to live your life as a Muslim.
Yes, you need more.
And I
than
agree
that.
with you.
Okay, so then the Quran is not complete. So you need to go to other
No.
sources.
Look, listen to me. You're using the wrong words when you say this. You're using the wrong words when you say the Quran is not complete. What you should say is, for a Muslim to live his life to his full potential, he needs the Quran and the Sunnah. If he only takes from the Quran, then his life as a Muslim is incomplete. The Quran as a book is complete in everything that it intended to contain.
How do you know that?
Because it is.
Okay, so you're just asserting that it is.
Because as a
Have you got
Muslim, I
evidence
know
that
that
it
it is.
No, but I think you haven't got evidence that it is. How do you know it?
How do I know that
deep
it's not
down
finished?
feeling?
Because
did
there's-
Muhammad speak to you?
There's hadiths
How do you know?
which we know when the Quran, the day that the Quran was finished, the Prophet said, now the religion has been complete, the Quran has been completed for you, and that is a hadith that we know.
Okay, so you're going to a hadith to confirm that the Quran is complete?
Yeah.
Okay, do you not see the problem with it?
There's no problem. I just told you, as a Muslim, I need to live my life by looking at the Sunnah and
You
the
told
Quran.
me
The
that
Sunnah
you
explains the
had to
Quran.
use a hadith to confirm that the Quran is complete.
Yes.
So does the Quran not itself confirm that it's complete? You have to go outside of the Quran.
Yeah, it says it in the Quran as well. This is a book of which there in.
Why should
is no
anybody
doubt.
believe this, by the way? We move past that. I think why should I or anybody who's a non-Muslim believe what
In
you
Islam?
say? Yes, why?
That's a very deep question. If you want me to convert you right now, you're basically asking me to
Good
convert
luck.
you.
Go for it.
Exactly. Like
I'm not here to convert. I want to know why you believe that it's true.
Okay.
What's the you've got many reasons. Give me the best reason. What's
best reason?
What's the best reason you think Islam is true?
From my logic, the universe had a cause. Yes.
How long are you going to be here for? How long-
Exactly. You asked me the most
That's fine,
complex
no,
question you could ask me
that's
in the
fine.
world.
No, that's fine.
I don't care to answer. Your question was, is the Quran complete? I'm telling you, as a book and what it intended to contain, it's complete.
Okay, so that means nothing to you. That's like gobbledygook to me. You're
Why?
just making up a subjective view on it.
No, it's what you said is wrong. In terms of, you can't just say the Quran is not complete. The Quran is complete. For a Muslim
you
to
can keep
say the
repeating
Quran is
that,
complete.
but that doesn't make it true.
The Quran is complete.
In your view, no, not in mine.
Well,
not
okay,
at
tell
all.
me why you think the Quran is not complete.
Because it does not give you all instructions to be a Muslim. Simple.
I'm saying exactly the same thing as you.
Good.
Just you're
Then
saying
you have
it
to say
in
the
an
Quran
incorrect
is
way.
incomplete. It does not contain all the information to be a Muslim. Just like if I gave you instructions on how to swim, if I gave you a manual and you said, hang on a moment, it doesn't tell me how to dive. I need to go speak to the UK diving champion to learn to dive. Is the instruction manual I
Okay.
gave you to swim complete?
Okay. I'm going to expand on that. You've been given
There's a
an
yes or no
instruction
to that particular question.
instruction manual to swim, yes?
Yes.
You're telling me the instruction manual is now not complete because the person needs to be in water to swim.
No, you're not listening.
The instruction manual is not complete now because the person is not in water to swim. If the person needs to swim, he needs to be in water to know how, yes?
That's not what I
If the
said to you.
person needs to swim, he needs to be in water to know how.
Okay, but that's not what I said to you.
So the instruction manual and experience need to go hand in hand, yes?
What did I say to you about the instruction manual? I said I gave you an instruction manual and it did not include how to dive.
Yeah.
Is it a complete manual?
No.
So if you
No, what? In terms of, what do you mean? To swim, you don't need to know how to dive to swim.
you do if you want to have if you want to be able to swim and dive and have a
So everything to do
elite
with
swimming, yeah.
aeronautics, like all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Diving,
just hop in a pool, but
butterfly,
diving in
all of that.
assuming you get you a lot
okay,
further.
so you have the instruction manual. Now, say the person's never been in water in his life.
Yes.
Is he not going to know how to swim by just looking at this instruction manual?
Well, that's why I'm saying to you, if the instruction manual is complete, it would tell him everything he needs to know, wouldn't it?
It's complete in. It depends on the purpose of the instruction manual. The Quran's
To
purpose.
teach you how to swim. What is the Quran's
Okay,
purpose?
the Quran's purpose is to explain to you.
According to you.
Is to explain to you the basis of Islam, the faith of it. What you should think about Allah. What qualities does He have? All the stories of the prophets. What experiences they endured. It's to develop you
So it's to
internally.
tell you a story about
It's
Allah.
to develop you internally and how you should worship Allah. But if you want to live a practical life, you can't just base your life on knowledge about how to believe in Allah. You have to know like how to pray. You need to know the steps on how to purify yourself. None of that is in the Quran because Allah didn't intend for it to be in the Quran. So the Quran is complete in the sense that it contains everything that we need to believe in Allah and what Allah's qualities are. But
Does
to
Allah
live
want you to worship Him?
Yes.
Did He command you to do so?
Yes.
Did He tell you how many times to do so? Not in the Quran, correct?
Through the Prophet he did.
Okay.
We need the Prophet and the Quran.
My friend, you can keep saying this if you like, it's fine.
The thing is, we're saying the same thing, and
no,
I don't
no,
know.
we're not.
We are.
No.
We are saying the same thing.
If you gave me the Quran, I could not be a Muslim and follow all the instructions that every Muslim in the world does.
Yes.
That's impossible, correct?
That's true.
Right. That's my point.
I'm saying the
Then
same
the
thing.
Quran
as
is
you.
incomplete. Let me ask you the question differently. Could God have put in the number of prayers that I need to do or you need to do per day in the Quran? Could He have done that?
He could have, but he didn't
Why
because he didn't
not?
want to.
Why not?
That was the intention.
Why not?
Because you need to learn from practical experience.
How am I
with
going
these
to learn
things.
if I don't have instructions on how many times to pray?
The point is the instructions are from the Hadith as well.
Thank
So
you.
there are two sets of instructions. One of them you
Why
need.
could not God put it into the Quran, into the, in your view, complete, in my view, very incomplete Quran? Why did he not put the instructions? It's a simple question.
So we can learn from experience.
You learned to pray
So
the
that
number
we-
of times from
so,
experience.
yeah.
How do you do that? Trial and error?
No,
Till you
because
get tired of praying? How do you do
Because
it?
the Prophet knew how to pray, and he told us this is the way that you should pray.
Was that included?
Practically.
It wasn't included in the Quran.
The Quran is not an illustrated book. If you want me to know how to prostrate and what to do with my hands when I'm praying, the Quran doesn't care to include those details.
Why not?
Because,
Why not? It's
because
simple.
it's not practical.
It's not practical.
Of course, it's not practical. If I had the book
Oh,
containing
Allah,
every
I
single
say
detail,
unto you, pray 5 times a day on your knees as Jesus did.
I'm
or
telling you,
whatever.
if the Quran contained every single detail
Yes.
about how a Muslim needs to live his
Yes.
life,
What?
then it would be like it would be
A
too long.
complete book.
It would be it would be too long, so you wouldn't be
Too
able
long?
to follow it.
Do you know? Okay,
Quick
my
one,
friend.
brother. Why doesn't
No
the camera
problem.
come with the tripod and the mic? Why do you have to buy that separately? Why isn't it complete? Same sort of analogy as what you're giving.
No.
You're going around in circles.
No, it's not.
You have to
You
buy
are.
extra bits, don't you, to make it work the way you want
Yes,
it to
but
work?
this thing is not the same as the Quran. Is the Quran not an
No, I'm
instruction?
just giving you an example. Your
Yeah, but
camera
see,
I
does
think
this
you're
job,
de- I
but
think
you need
you're-
a tripod to make
I
it
think your
stand
idea
on.
of-
Well, I don't need it, but I prefer it.
Yeah,
I can hold it.
Same with the Quran. You need the extra bit, which is the Prophet Muhammad, to explain it.
Yeah, but then you have to admit that the Quran is incomplete.
No, it's complete. but
Listen
it came
to what you're
part and
saying.
parcel, part and
Look, it's
parcel,
your
it comes
English.
together.
It's your English.
That's my reasoning.
No, it's
and
your English. Listen,
lack
it's
of
your,
reasoning.
it's your English.
Yes.
The Quran as a book, everything that God intended to be in that book is in that book.
Stand still. You're jumping around. You're very jumpy. I know he's jumpy. Maybe we should go against the fence. Then you can't move any further. Go ahead. Tell me again why the Quran is complete.
It's complete because everything that was intended to be in it is in there.
So God did not intend
Is it
for you to
complete?
pray 5 times a day.
Allah wanted us to do that, but the way we learn how to do that is from the prophets, from what the prophet did.
Did God tell Muhammad how many times to pray?
Yes.
Why was that not included in the Quran?
Because we don't need it to be in the Quran because we can
Okay,
get
so
it
you
from
don't
the
need
Hadith.
everything to be a Muslim to be in the Quran.
We don't need to know how many times to pray. We don't need the information of how many times to pray to be in the Quran when we can have it in the Hadith. It doesn't need to be in the Quran. It's not
But you're
necessary.
making my point for
No,
me.
no, no. It's
Yes,
not.
you are.
Okay, fine. Exactly. We're saying the same thing, except that your
saying
English
that-
is wrong.
You're saying the Quran
you can't
is
say
complete.
the
I'm saying
Quran
it's
is
incomplete.
incomplete.
You're telling me that you,
You need
have
to
to refer
add. You need to add a
Hadith.
bit more to your sentence. You need to say the Quran is incomplete for a Muslim to live his life to the fullest. You can't just say the Quran is incomplete. Full stop. That's not a full sentence. Doesn't
Why
make
is
sense.
that not a full sentence?
Because by saying those three
If you-
words, you're saying that the Quran as a book is incomplete. It needs to be finished.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be finished.
If
because
you don't pray
because
5
we
times a day, is
purposefully-
that a sin?
Yes. But we purposely have the Hadith to back up the Quran. That was an intention from God. His
So
intention
my question was
to give
why
us
was
the
that
Quran
not
and the
all
Hadith.
in the Quran? Because, as you know, some hadiths are
don't need it to be.
authentic, some are not.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody disputes the Quran as being authentic as a Muslim. Correct?
Because it is authentic.
According to you.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're an Arabic
No, don't
lit-
go there. Don't go there for the moment.
Okay, fine.
The main point is that some hadiths are authentic, some are not.
Yes, and we have
So is the
identified that.
best methodology for God to put it into hadiths, which could be authentic or not, or put into the Quran, which every Muslim accepts as authentic?
But the thing is, that's not the reasoning behind it. The reasoning behind it is that we
Oh,
learn from
you know
experience.
God's mind, do
Explain
you?
to me. Okay, explain to me how we would know what every single step to do in the prayer in the Quran.
Explain to you what?
Explain to me how you would have every single step.
It would be put down in the Quran very easily. Step 1, do this. Step 2, or in whatever way you wanted to do that.
Okay,
Step
but
1,
what
on
I'm
your
s-
knees. Step 2, use your hands. Step 3, say this. Step 4, do it X
So
number
why
of
do we
times.
need that when we can have that in the Hadith?
Because then it's in somewhere and it's complete as an instruction manual, and then it doesn't require
But that's
you
not the
to,
Quran's intention.
to follow
That's not the
Muhammad,
intention
who,
of the Quran.
who admitted made mistakes,
But that's not the
or the
intention.
hadiths, which may or may not be
But the
complete.
whole point is we've identified which ones are correct and which ones aren't.
They keep getting revised, my friend. Every time I come here, a Muslim tells me that some hadith is no longer authentic, or it is. It changes like the weather.
No.
The Quran doesn't change
We
like the weather, does
always
it?
rely on the same scholarly books of which ones are correct and which ones aren't. If a Muslim comes in and says one of them is weak and another one says one of them is strong, that's their incorrectness. It's not mine. It's
How do
not
we
Islam.
determine which one is correct? Because
It's a very intensive.
Oh, it is, yes. That
science.
goes back to my original question. Was this not supposed to be
But it's
an
been
easy
done.
to understand religion? No, it doesn't. They keep contradicting
No,
each
they
other.
haven't. They don't. The ones that are true, and the ones that aren't are
If
not.
I gave a message for mankind, I could do a better job than God did. Much
No,
easier.
you really couldn't.
Yes, I could.
Because
Very easily.
the
I could give you a much
complexity-
more complete version of what to do.
The perfection of the Arabic literature in the Quran, you could not match.
Yes, I know. I've heard that many times.
How could you match that? Could you?
I don't speak Arabic.
Exactly. So could you make a perfect book in English?
Yes, yeah. Shakespeare did a perfect book.
Could you do it?
Anybody could do a
you
perfect
what
book.
Shakespeare did?
Say again?
Could you do what Shakespeare did?
Me personally, no, but Shakespeare
Exactly.
did it.
Okay, so you can't.
Doesn't matter.
So you can't. So what you just
But
said
other
was
humans
wrong.
can do it, right? You accept that other humans can do perfect books.
What I'm saying is even Shakespeare's book was flawed.
You make up your mind.
I'm saying
Either
you
you
can't.
said-
You just said I could do a job, but then you just said you couldn't.
Can a human?
Can
a
you
human,
do a better
Yes,
job?
I can. I can
Can you
write
do
a
a
perfect
better
book.
job as the Quran or Shakespeare?
How do I? What criteria do we use to determine that?
Okay, you need.
And who determined this, by the way? Human beings.
What do you mean? The study of Arabic literature determines this.
Okay, but that's done by human beings, and it's subjective, correct?
It's not subjective. If you have these certain criteria in Arabic literature, that makes it amazing.
That makes it amazing, according to who? Not by God, hey? Because God doesn't say, hey.
No one has matched the.
Yes, I've heard this many times.
You've heard it. That doesn't make it.
Many people
incorrect.
have, and this is a subjective thing. Who makes the decision on which ones, and who makes the judgment as to whether it's perfect? Many people have claimed to have made perfect verses. Who makes the judgment? This is an
Arabic-
unfalsifiable claim.
No, listen,
Yes, it
listen.
is.
No, listen. Whether it's perfect is not the issue. Whether it's an amazing piece of Arabic literature, which is a miracle in itself, is the thing. And Arabic people who study Arabic literature can tell that this book cannot be created by like a normal person. Like they can't replicate it in terms of the devices that it contains, the rhetorical devices, all the different pieces of literature that the Quran contains. Even in one verse, one single person wouldn't be able to replicate.
Many people have done that.
They haven't. That's just the whole point. They haven't.
And who judges it? Who judges?
People who study Arabic
Ah,
literature.
thank you. So it's subjective. That's
No, the point is you can see what is possible to do from what people have done, and if no one has been able to do it, that makes it amazing.
Is amazing
no?
the same as perfect, by the way? Just checking.
That's a different topic.
Is the Quran amazing or perfect or both?
It's both. But it's perfect.
So perfect overrides amazing, yes?
It's perfect because we know from what God told us that it is.
Did God tell you that the Quran
Perfect
is
in the sense that it
perfect?
has no mistakes.
Is there somewhere in the
It has
Quran?
no mistakes.
Okay. Is there somewhere in the Quran where God says the Quran is perfect?
Yes,
Where?
in a verse.
Let me know. I'm interested. I don't know if it does,
It does.
so I'm asking.
It does.
Tell me. Get it out and tell me.
I can't
where
be
God
bothered, to
says,
be honest.
oh,
I've read it
Muhammad,
before.
when this book is compiled, I say unto thee that this is perfect, or words to that effect.
Pretty much similar things.
Go on.
You could Google it in your own time, but I'll know. You will know that it
Okay,
does
my
say
friend,
that.
when you come to Speaker's Corner and you make claims, I'm going to challenge you and ask you to provide evidence.
And I'm
Otherwise,
challenging you, and you're not providing evidence for me either. You're just
you
saying,
made
oh,
the claim
who does it?
that the Quran, that God says the Quran is perfect.
It will take me time to find it. I mean,
That's fine.
I don't have the effort.
I've got time. Go for it. No?
I just can't be bothered.
Okay, no worries. Cool. There we go, my friend. I think we've come to an end of some kind or other.
No conclusion.
There's no conclusion because we were saying the same things, and he has failed
Saying the
to.
same thing.
But he's failed to admit that he can't just say 3 words, the Quran is incomplete. He has to say, the Quran is incomplete because for a Muslim to live his life to the fullest, he needs a sunnah as well. But as a book, by itself, it's complete. In terms of what it's intended to do for us.
How do you know what it's intended to do?
Because it
I thought
says in
I
the
thought it was
Quran.
done.
I know.
It's going to go on. It's going to continue around.
See, it's going around in circles. He's not